Yes. So, as Faiza introduced many aspects about me, but one thing she missed, or probably she doesn't know, that is, I am a big foodie. I love to eat. I love to talk about food. I love to read about food. I love to try different cuisines and different dishes. And I also very shamelessly invite myself to people's homes if I realize that they are from the community that I have not eaten at. So, all those who are attending this session, if you have any plans of befriending me, I'm just giving you a warning beforehand. So, welcome to my talk, Jevan Tayar Ahe, Unveiling Marathi Cuisine. But the first and foremost question is, what is Marathi cuisine? Because for some, it can be, like Faiza said, it starts and ends at vada pav, and probably it extends to puranpoli and misal pav. But for some, it's a very typical Brahminical thali that is served at many eateries in Pune or many other places in the state, which consists of varan bhat and poli and rasta bhaji, sukki bhaji, salad, lontso, papad, and all. But for some, it can also be a Kolhapuri mutton thali, which that elaborate pandra and tamda rasa and bhakri. For some, it can be a very minimal bhakri and thesa, mirchita thesa, which is just pounding green chilies with garlic. And but then, and it all ends there. It can be also Malwani fish thali. But then what about various other things from the other parts of the state? Like the very first image that you see is it's called Shirvale and Ras, which is very similar to the ones that you get in Kerala and some parts of coastal Karnataka. But the same thing is cooked here also with a slight variation. Then there are appe, which are those small round pancakes. There is organ meat. There is pork. There is a delicious dish, pork indial, which is cooked by East Indian community of Mumbai and nearby areas. Indial is the East Indian name or the East Indian Marathi name for Vindalu, which is popularly known as Vindalu in Goa. Then I have also I work with these traditional Lavani artists and I have eaten very delicious pork curries at their places and at their annual fair. That is also Marathi cuisine. All the suka, that is dried and fresh fish, all these are also Marathi cuisine. All the beautiful salads, like one is here, radish koshim, mulachi koshimbir we call with soaked dal. That is also Marathi. So it's very difficult and it's very challenging for me to summarize all this in 40 minutes, but I am going to try nonetheless. So this is another thing which happens in near Latur, which is the south part of Marathwada, Maharashtra. And it's called, there is one particular day which happens in December, Jan, and it's called Ved Amavasya. So on that day, every farming community and other communities celebrate it by a special feast. And this is a Muslim household, Muslim family who's giving, because their religion doesn't matter. Everybody celebrates this by preparing the fixed menu. Then it is annual fairs by all the communities and they serve various dishes along with the quintessential jawar roti or jwarichi bhakri and chapatis. So what is Marathi food? It's what we are going to explore in this session. And this session is divided into, we are talking about various sub-region geographical parts of the state, various religions and castes from the state, certain myths and facts. The main focus is going to be on the recipes, and at the end, Q&A will be there. Let's come to the geographical map of Maharashtra. As you can see, there are broadly three parts of the state. One is the coastal line, which is called Konkan, and Mumbai is part of that belt. Then the Sahyadri Mountains, which is also Ghat. So that's where Ghati comes from. But so people who are from there are Ghati, but then invariably every Marathi speaking person was termed as Ghati. Then there is the other side of the state, which is broadly and collectively known as Desh. And that desh is also divided further into various sections. So this Pune section that you see here, which consists of Pune, Satara, Sangli, Kolhapur, Solapur, it's known as Western Maharashtra. And it's also one of the richest part of the state because it's very fertile. Number one, there are many rivers, and there were also many princely states in this region: Pune, Aun, Javli, Kurundwad, Sangli, Kolhapur, um, many others. So you see, the culinary art was quite developed, and it continues to be so in this region. Then we have Aurangabad division, which is Marathwada, one of the drought-prone areas, and also quite poor in terms of everything. It was also ruled by Nizam for over 200 years. So culturally, it's quite different. And it's similar to some parts of Telangana and Karnataka, which was also ruled by Nizams, and also geographically and climate-wise, they share similar terrain. Then we have Vidarbha, the easternmost part, which has further two divisions, Amravati and Nagpur. Very hot, dry part, and full of forests also. And then you have Nashik division, which consists of Nashik and Khandesh, so which borders Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh, so influenced by that. So Maharashtra is the third largest state in terms of area also, and Marathi is also third largest spoken languages of India. So we are dealing with a real Maharashtra, a large state. Uh, to make the complexities further, Maharashtra has these many religions, Hindu, Muslim, Christian being the majority, and Buddhist, Neo-Buddhist. And there are also Marathi-speaking Jain community. There are Sikhs and Jewish community also. And except for Sikh and Jewish, I have eaten at all these other religions, and I'll explain how different and yet similar their cuisine is. And on the right-hand side is the list of all different communities or castes. And again, out of all these, I have eaten more than 50% of the communities place. But now just going through, I realized that I missed out Kupari community or Mari community. So, the list is quite endless. Now, all these communities have their own cuisine. And interestingly, even when they belong to the same region, their cuisine is quite different from each other. And of course, the cooking methods are also different, but one major reason is their unique masala. So every Maharashtrian household prepares and stores year-long masala like many other parts of India. And but in Maharashtra, every community has their own unique formula. And until 20, 25 years ago, they used to keep it as a secret. Like there is CKP masala, there is Pathare Prabhu Sambar, there is Sonari masala, Goda masala, Kala masala, bottle masala, so many different masalas. Most of these masalas would use a similar spices, but the proportion would vary. And then some people would add dried onion, some people would add dried garlic and ginger, some people would add various other condiments into that. And that's what gives the unique flavor to their dishes. And this is another feature of Marathi kitchens, which you find in most Marathi households. That's the masala miscellaneous dabba or masala box. In Marathi, there is a saying that says that Bamna ghari livna, Kunbya ghari dana, and Manga ghari gana or Mahara ghari gana. This literally means that in a Brahmin households, you'll find writing, which is literature, books, text. In a Kunbi or a farming community's household, you'll find food grain. And in the Dalit communities, you'll find Gana, songs, dance, and entertainment. So clearly, this shows the caste hierarchy. But at the same time, interestingly, it also talks about what Marathi people as a community value in that order. So education comes first, then comes eating, and entertainment at the last, as expected. Clearly, you don't see enterprise here. So Marathi people are not really into business, and that also explains out of these age-old sayings and proverbs. But Marathi has many interesting words that describe cooking and food and this. So I don't know how many of you are Marathi speaking or understand Marathi, but let's quickly see all these words. झणझणीत, चमचमीत, टमटमीत, खुसखुशीत, खुटखुटीत, धगधगीत, टवटवीत, फडफडीत, चटपटीत. Now, these are all usually positive adjectives to describe. Like tavtavit and padpadit both mean fresh, but tavtavit is used for usually plants and flowers and fruits and vegetables, and padpadit is for the sea produce, that is fish. So taji padpadit machi or taji padpadit bazar is what they say. Then we have bhagbhagit. So zanzanit is spicy in a nice way, but bhagbhagit, if it causes pain and if it causes burning, then the same thing will be termed as bhagbhagit. Then there is bhusbhushit, chikchikit, khadkhadit, patspachit. Patspachit is insipid, panikam. Then milmilit. Milmilit is mild or bland. Gilgilit. Now gilgilit and bulbulit both mean slimy, but gilgilit means slimy in a not so pleasant way, and bulbulit is a plain neutral adjective to describe slimy, and so on and so forth. So Marathi people talk more than they eat probably, and we'll see. So quickly, to summarize Marathi food, it is diverse because of the geography, caste, communities, religion. It's very simple, and it's quite simple for me to explain why it is simple. The culinary art in any region is actually developed by paid men and unpaid women. So by paid men, I mean people who work in king's kitchens or rich men's kitchens, and usually they are male chefs or maharaj or achari as they are known as. And because of king's encouragement and money and resources, they would develop this. Now, as you saw, Maharashtra in last 500 to 600 years had many, like very few princely states. So clearly, and half the time they were busy in fighting. So clearly the culinary art was not developed much. But in those princely states, it was developed, and you still see the remnants of that in those regions. And the unpaid women, like all the homemakers, in Maharashtra, like again many parts of India, a majority of women, the Bhujan Samaj, the lower caste, are have always been working. They are working in the farms or family professions, so they have very little time to spend in the kitchen. So again, they come up with very quick, easy, and simple recipes. Also, because of social reforms in the state from early times, the upper caste women in urban areas also started working, like past more than 100 years, Marathi upper caste women have also been working. So again, they also have very little time, and then that's why they come up with these very quick, easy, and ready to cook kind of dishes, and yet very delicious and nutritious. And the last part about Marathi cuisine is this is underexplored. So one reason we already saw why it is underexplored, because Marathi people are not enterprising enough. So you won't find all these their food in restaurants or eateries very easily. Even the ones which is very popular, like Ukdi se Modak, are quite popular in Mumbai, but you will still get those on specific days and in specific places. And now comes the some of the stereotypes that Marathi food is oily, it is spicy, it is highly non-vegetarian. Now, like all stereotypes, there is truth in these stereotypes also. That Marathi food is oily, it is spicy, and it is highly non-vegetarian in certain communities and in certain regions. So to call the whole spectrum oily, spicy, non-vegetarian would be wrong, but to call a part of it all this is technically very correct. But oily, Faiza introduced me as also a translator of a very interesting and important book, that is Dalit Kitchens of Marathwada. And in this book, the writer Shahu Patole has a chapter on after the chapter is titled After 1972. So he has written what exactly happened after 1972 because there was a famine during that year. And that's why after that famine or during that time, the government uh, made the cheap oil available in that region, and which was palm oil. So Marathi people used to eat in that part of the state. They used to eat either sesame seeds oil or peanut groundnut oil. But now suddenly this and that used to be expensive and not it was also scarce. So suddenly it became abundantly available and cheap. So people in that region and from Dalit communities and from all lower, economically lower class communities started using lot of oil. So it was like taking revenge. He uses the word that we have been deprived of oil, now put lot of oil. So that is one of the reasons why it is oily. Same thing goes for spicy also. So everyone knows that India wasn't like Portuguese people introduced chilies to India in the 16th century. So before that, the whole country was using local spices and primarily garlic, ginger, and black pepper. Now, out of this, black pepper was the main spice agent, and that was very spicy. That was very expensive. So the Dalit communities and other lower caste couldn't really afford it. They would rely on garlic mainly. So after the Portuguese people introduced these chilies, they again took revenge that, okay, let's use a lot of it. And also it goes well in that climatic condition. It is very hot and humid. So if you add a lot of spice and oil, the dishes last longer and they also become appetizing. Like in that weather, usually you have a very low appetite. So to induce that hunger and all, this helps. And again, one more reason is the economic reason that if you add a lot of spice, then you end up especially in non-vegetarian dishes, then end up eating less portion. If it's a bland food, you can eat more. But if the food is minimum, and if you want to manage in those limited resources, then these things make sense. So it is spicy, it is oily, it is non-vegetarian, but all these reasons are responsible for that. But there are many, many oil-free dishes, non-spicy dishes, vegetarian. Even the non-vegetarian Marathi people don't consume meat and fish and eggs and chicken and everything on a daily basis because of religious and economic reasons. And also, um, uh, they want variety in their food. So then that's why majority of them are vegetarian. And one interesting part of Maharashtra food is that it is highly vegan. If when not non-vegetarian, it's directly vegan because milk and milk products were not plentifully available in the state. Even now, you will not find paneer as part of any traditional Marathi dish. This is all North Indian influence that people have started using paneer in their kitchen, but it was a foreign product until as little as 20 years ago. So it's highly vegan, and there are many substitutes. Like the Konkan belt would use coconut milk, and on the dish, the souring agent instead of dahi or the curd, various different souring agents would be used. Now comes the most favorite of all Mumbaikars, vada pav. And vada pav is a very, very Marathi dish because it was introduced out of necessity to feed the working class in Mumbai in post-independence. But it is also very Portuguese because the three main ingredients were introduced in India by the Portuguese. That is potatoes, chilies, and the pav. So it is half Marathi and half Portuguese, we can say. Uh, but batata vada, that is the potato vada, were always made in Marathi kitchen. It was the addition of the pav and chutney and fried chilies was then became popular as a vada pav. The main ingredient of this is besan flour, which is so the potato balls mixed with condiments are dipped into the besan slurry and then they are deep fried. So this ingredient, besan, is highly used in the Desh part of Maharashtra, and there are multiple dishes that are made using besan. The most popular are bhaji or pakode, as it's known in Hindi. And again, in those bhajis are made from each and every vegetable. But again, the most popular are kanda bhaji or the onion pakoda. And then followed by green chilies or other chilies and potato. Then there is Kothimbir vadi, which uses generous amounts of coriander leaves, and then they are mixed in the besan and various other flours, and then of course the condiments are added and they are steamed. So in Shahu Patole's book, he also talks about Kothmiriche mutke. So same recipe is followed, but they stop at steaming the part. Like the entire dough would be steamed, and then they are cut into chunks and they are eaten without frying. But in other households or in now every house, not like most households, these chunks are also either deep fried or shallow fried and then consumed. Then there is this very um, delicate maswadi. Maswadi is from Western Maharashtra. Maswadi literally means uh, flesh chunk, but there is no flesh. It's a vegetarian dish. It's made out of besan, and then a very rich stuffing is filled with that, and then that is made. And then there is patwadi. Patwadi is like a solidified pitla. So pitla is another. I'm not able to move forward. Pitla is another very Marathi dish. Again, very simple, very basic to make. It's nothing but just add water to besan flour and add a lot of spices, whatever is available. And then there are various methods to cook this, but one simple is just saute the chopped onion in little oil and then add this slurry and keep stirring, and a delicious and nutritious dish is made, which is consumed along with jawar bhakri. And the variant you will find in Konkan, which is kulthachi pithi. Same method, similar method, but instead of besan, Konkani people use horse gram, that is kulit, and they make the same thing. And instead of bhakri, it's consumed with rice. There is another use of besan is aluvadi or kobicha vadya, or it's also called as bhanole. So alu, that is colosia leaves, are used to make this aluvadi, and cabbage is also used to make kobicha vadya. And you'll see some non-vegetarian guests here. That is mutton keema. Nowadays, chicken keema is also used, and prawns. So in Mumbai, there is this community called Pathare Prabhu, one of the early settlers and one of the richest community. And they love to add either prawns or a particular fish called ghol or mutton to each and every dish. So all their snacks, even poha, the regular poha is used with like poha is also served along with prawns and all in many other communities also. So they add this non-vegetarian twist, and it's one of my favorites. I mean, prawns aluvadi is the ultimate thing that one can expect on a sunny afternoon. Uh, the next most popular dish in Marathi cuisine is puranpoli. But here I would like to make a confession. Till around when like maybe when I was up to 25 years of age, I used to hate puranpoli because I have been only exposed to the puranpolis that are available in Mumbai. And I'm sorry to say, but in Mumbai, at most places, you get very powdery and dry puranpoli. Because puranpoli is actually, to be honest, it's a dish from the Desh. And once I tasted that was made in any community, be it Brahmin or Dalit or a Muslim or any community, their puran polis are just so moist, so caramelized. So they may not look very appetizing like you see in the picture, but they are in taste, they are another level. And if you want to ever try, there are I don't know where in Mumbai you will get it, but in Pune and every other part of the state, you will definitely get these varieties. So puranpoli is nothing but wheat flour, and it's stuffed with again gram dal, that is chana dal stuffing with jaggery or sugar. This is popular, but there are so many other poli. The same technique is used, and but the stuffing is different. So the stuffing is either of shira, gold shira, that is sweet semolina, or it is khawa or khoya, thickened milk, that is also used as a stuffing. Then there is gul poli, which is plain jaggery is used. And during Sankranti, sesame seed still is also added to that to make it more nutritious and climate friendly. Then there is kaju poli and badam poli, cashew nuts and almonds. Again, this is a specialty of Pathare Prabhu community, and they mix it with sugar and uh, serve it. And also they use only maida. They don't use wheat flour. So the polis also look very white, but very tasty. But one of my, and of course, Shenga poli, which is popular in Marathwada and Solapur, which is peanuts. So peanuts along with jaggery is used, that stuffing. And Kele poli. So one of my most favorite out of all these poli is Kele poli, which is used, the stuffing is banana halwa. So bananas are mixed with sugar or jaggery and coconut, and this stuffing is used to make the poli. But and puran poli in Maharashtra is always served with this spicy byproduct, which is called katachi amti. So what is kat? Kat means conspiracy in Marathi, but it also means the remnant of the water that remains after cooking the chana dal. So that nutritious and tasty water is not thrown away, but it is used to make this spicy version. And again, community-wise and region-wise, there are various methods. But this image is from Western Maharashtra, Satara, where they use the kanda lasun masala, which is onion and garlic masala powder, along with red chili powder, of course, and they give a generous tempering of chopped garlic. And this is eaten, puran poli is always served with this. So there is either milk or ghee or and katachi amti along with this. And some people also use, like in the book, Shahu Patole's book, I came to know that they also use a thing called gulavni. So gulavni is nothing but jaggery mixed with water. So when there is no milk, such substitutes are used. Chonge is a very interesting uh, parallel to Puran Poli. Chonge is a very Muslim dish which is prepared all across the country. But in Maharashtra, this recipe, I mean, although Muslims in Maharashtra make Puran Polis at home, they also make this chonge using similar ingredients like Puran Poli. Like there is chana dal, uh, crushed chana dal added to this. Going further, Dashmi, Thalipit, and Dirdi are again the savory roti items. So Dashmi is a very travel-friendly thing. Dashmi is nothing but either the wheat flour is soaked in pure milk either or sugarcane juice. And these are, and then the normal chapatis or rotis are made out of that. And these are supposed to last longer. So in olden times or even today, people use these dashmis to travel as a carry on food for travel. Thalipit and dhirdi. So similar ingredients, but the way to make is different. Like a mix of multigrain flours with you mixed with many condiments. But when it is baked like chapatis or bhakri, it's called thalipit. And when a slurry is made and it's made like a dosa, then it's called dhirdi. So my taste buds favor dhirdi because they are softer, but it's all very similar. Then these are all Marathi dosas. So south part of Konkan have these traditional recipes, amboli, ghavan, khapuroli, and there are many other variants. So the ghavan or ghavne is very similar to neer dosa that is made in coastal Karnataka, and it's served with all types of chutneys or chicken curries or fish curries, not fish curries, but usually either chicken curries or chutneys. And khaproli, the left-hand side image, is again a dosa that is similar to uttappa, but they also add chana dal in the batter and jeera or cumin seeds and coconut. And it's usually served along with ras. We call it ras. So it's coconut milk mixed with jaggery and either nutmeg powder or cardamom powder. One more favorite dish in Mumbai is ukdiche modak. So these are sweet dumplings stuffed with jaggery and coconut stuffing, and the outer layer is rice flour. So this is popular. Again, it's popular only in certain parts and certain shops in Mumbai. But there are so many other varieties of modak. That is fried modak, tallele modak. So they use wheat flour instead of rice flour, and they fry the modaks instead of steaming them. Then we also have ukdiche modak made from wheat flour. So in Solapur district, this is very famous. So same recipe, but the stuffing is dried coconut and sugar or jaggery, and the outer layer is wheat flour. And the below images are called patole. So this is again same ingredients as ukdiche modak, but the shape is different, and they are not baked, they are steamed in turmeric leaves. So turmeric leaves add that unique flavor, and again it's one of my favorite. And there is motkachi amti. So instead of sweet, like Marathi people are not fond of too much sweet. So with every sweet, they need something spicy. So motkachi amti is also made. And motkachi amti is same recipe as modak, but instead of the sweet stuffing, they make a savory stuffing, and then a spicy curry is made. And these dumplings are allowed to boil in that curry, and then this spicy curry is ready. Now we are going to see some oil-free and less spicy recipes. So in Western Maharashtra is also one of the largest mutton consuming regions. Uh, in Kolhapur, they eat mutton twice a week. Every Wednesday and Sunday, almost every Bahujan household and Maratha and all the castes, they have to have this mutton. And there are so many mutton shops if you go to Kolhapur, not just the city, even in the entire district, you will find, and also Satara and some parts of Sangli. Even mutton in Solapur is also famous. Not that Marathwada and Vidarbha don't have mutton, but here it is a most favored thing. And the method is always they make two variants of mutton. So first the meat is cooked in very little spices and without oil, and it's allowed to cook on its own steam, and then very little water is added. That is alni mutton. And then for the sick or for kids or for very old people, this is kept aside. And then the same alni mutton is used to make a spicy curry. So alni mutton is kind of a very necessity. And in many eateries in Marathwada, if you go, this alni soup is given free of cost. So you can have as much of that, like it's given complimentary. And alni actually means without salt, but here alni means bland. So it's a bland recipe, that's why alni mutton. And again, there are region-wise and community-wise differences in the exact proportions of spices that go into this. Ghosalachi bhaji, or rich gourd vegetable. It's a South Konkan speciality. Very simple, and it's an oil-free and less spicy variety. So the method to do is allow water to boil, then add soaked tur dal into this. Then once the dal is half cooked, add the peeled and sliced rich gourd or gosali or shirari. Add chopped green chilies, chopped onion, and then allow it to cook. No oil. And then once everything is properly cooked, add lot of freshly grated coconut. And then add a very little jaggery and salt to balance the taste. And your gosalachi bhaji is ready. So I mean, this is eaten by everyone, but our whoever is attending if you want to try oil-free. And this similar recipe is used to make many vegetables. So first just boil everything and then add lot of freshly grated coconut. So that kind of compensates the lack of oil because coconut has inherent oil in it. And like many coastal communities, Kokni people also don't waste any part of any plant or any animal or any fish. They make use of everything. सब कुछ निचोड़ लेते हैं. So similarly, Ridgegard के peels की भी चटनी बनती है. So in this dish you see Ridgegard sabji, vegetable curry, and also the chutney. So that peel is chopped finely. It's fried in little oil, and then various condiments are added. Fresh coconut is added, and a chutney is made. Then bhendichi amti. Uh, Bhendi, that is okra, is used to make a dry vegetable, but also a very spicy curry is made out of that. Again, this uses very little oil, and this vatap or the masala mix or the paste is made using onion, red chilies, coriander seeds, black pepper, tamarind, turmeric powder, and jaggery. Now the beauty is the same recipe but jaggery is not used. Whenever you want to make a fish curry, same vatap is used, but not jaggery. When it is fish, no jaggery is used. And tamarind is there, or instead of tamarind, many people use kokum, or some people use green mango, raw mango also in the season. And again, this is allowed to boil and boil together, and a very delicious okra curry is ready. So depending on which type of fish, a variation of condiment is added. Like for some fishes, ginger juliennes are added. Some fishes, split green chilies are added. For fishes like tarle, that is sardines and mackerel, a generous amount of tirfala is added. So depending on that, but basically the same recipe is used. And many women from Konkan area also use this sugar and salt hack. So my grandmother used to say that in every savory dish, you add a pinch of sugar, and in every sweet dish, you add a pinch of salt. And that makes the whole difference. And suddenly the same dish becomes very flavorful. And the amount of the sugar in the savory dishes is so minimal that not sugar, actually jaggery most of the time, but also sugar. So this is so minimal that you won't realize that it is sweet. It is not heightened sweetness, but it's just to balance the taste. And that, so you should try this and see the difference in the taste. But again, in Marathwada and Vidarbha, the idea of adding sugar or jaggery to any savory dish or curries will really kill them. Like they would be very shocked to know that people also add sugar to savory dishes. Then this is from the book Dalit Kitchens of Marathwada, and I have eaten this dish cooked by the writer himself, Shahu Patole, dal vanga, similar dish, similar recipe. This is yet another very simple and easy recipe by Pathare Prabhu community. And the similar recipe is followed by the local Mumbaikar communities, that is Agris, Kolis, and East Indian Catholics, and many other Sonar. So what they do is, now this is Bomlachi Miravni. So there are no spices. There is only black pepper crushed, garlic crushed, turmeric powder, salt, oil, and they marinate the fish into these spices, and everything is kept on the gas flame, and then allows it to be cooked. But same recipe, same method is used by all these communities. Only the masala mix is different. Like they add their own masalas, they add tamarind, and they cook the same. So there is no time is wasted in first add oil, then fry onions, make them translucent, then add ginger garlic paste, then add this. So know these steps, and yet the dishes turn out to be very delicious. And they cook like in fish cooks very easily. So in less than 10 minutes, your curries are ready. And I tried this many times and it turns out to be yum. but you have to have that exact proportion of oil and water. Like too much of water also would kill this. So water is only, like they always say that हाथ धुण्याचं पाणी. So when you should like you have to mix everything with your hand. And in Marathi they also say हाताची चव. So the flavor of your hand. So hand is used, and then ultimately when you are done with all the marination, you take some water and wash your hands so that all the things stuck to your fingers would fall into that. And only that much water should be allowed to be used in this recipe. So that is Bomlachi Miravni. Dalcha, I think we are running out of time. This is a very uh, yummy and delicious and mildly spiced dish cooked by only Marathi Muslims, like Muslims from Marathwada and Western Maharashtra. They may be using it in Khandesh and Vidarbha also, but I haven't really tasted that. And similar dishes are made in Telangana and North India also. But in Maharashtra, they use this specific vegetable, that is ambat sukka, which is green sorrel, which is very sour. Then bottle gourd is used in this, chunks of bottle gourd. Methi is also used. And then obviously all the, and instead of chana dal, they use tur dal, and also they use mix of dal. And this all, and mutton, goat meat is used in this. And dalcha khana is a delicacy in many Muslim functions and Muslim weddings. And trust me, this is one of the most exotic mutton dishes. Although, again, the origin of this dish is attributed to lack of resources. Because if there is not enough meat, then you have to add some other things. So that's how bottle gourd came. That's how ambat sukka and methi, of course, add a lot of flavor to this. And bottle gourd, whoever is allergic to them, you should taste the pieces from the dalcha, and you'll realize that they absorb all the meaty and juicy flavors, and they taste really very good. Then Maharashtra also has whole lot of salad, koshimbir, raitas, bharit, and chutneys. There are like 100 types of chutneys. And I've heard that Adivasis also make chutneys out of ants, but I haven't had the opportunity to taste that. Uh, Prawns pickle is very famous, and it's made in almost every coastal community. We also have traditional twists like cucumber, pumpkins. These puris that you see, these are savory version, but the pumpkin, bhoplacha gharya, so pumpkin and jaggery and wheat flour is used to make puris, and they make a very good snack and also good to carry for travel. And these are savory, but you again use of pumpkin and different spices. Then you have something called dhondas made in Konkan, which uses the local cucumbers, which are larger in size, but the regular ones can also be used. It's a cucumber cake, basically. Then you have आंब्याचं रायतं, which is you use the desi mangoes and use the similar vata or the paste, masala paste that we saw in Vendichi Amti, but then certain spices are not used there. And here a lot of mustard seeds are used in tempering, also in the butter. And that gives the different flavor. So, and then there is केळ्याची कोशिंबीर, which is ripe banana. Now, raw banana koshimbier is also made, but this ripe banana is very interesting because you just chop ripe banana and grind green chilies and mustard seeds in a paste. Add that, add some curd, add freshly grated coconut, add little sugar and salt, and a yummy केळ्याची कोशिंबीर is ready. I think that's about it, and the floor is open. But before I end the session, I will say this prayer, which many Marathi households chant this prayer before every meal. We will do it after this session. The translation is there, and I will start reciting the prayer. वदनी कवळ घेता नाम घ्या श्रीहरीचे सहज हवन होते नाम घेता फुकाचे जीवन करी जीवित्वा अन्न हे पूर्ण ब्रह्म उदर भरण नोहे जाणीजे यज्ञ कर्म. Thank you very much. And I'm aware that I have not been able to cover many parts, many regions, many communities, but I have been able to give you a glimpse of different things that are cooked in Marathi kitchens. So also an interesting part about this particular prayer is Shahu Patole's book. In Marathi, it was titled Anna Hai Apurna Brahma. So the prayer proclaims that Anna Hai Purna Brahma. Food is the eternal truth, or food is the complete reality. But Shahu Patole, when he documented his Dalit food, he thought that for them, food was never a complete thing. It was always incomplete. They were always hungry. So that's why he titled the book as uh, Anna Hai Apurna Brahma. But when I translated it, we realized, the editors and the publishers, we all had a group of discussions, and we realized that to translate it literally, I mean, it will be lost in translation. So we gave it a generic title, Dalit Kitchens of Marathwada. And last but not the least, thank you, Khaki Tours, for inviting me. Thank you, all of you who are attending this. And thanks to all these people who allowed me to use their images. And the presentation, if you like it, it was made by Ranjana Srivastav. She is a theater actor and writer, but she also helps me in these things. And my contact details are also displayed. So thank you, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Korgaonkar. That was very, very enlightening, especially the ending where I think you made food very spiritual. Though I promise you, right now, almost everyone is extremely hungry with all
So
the
am I.
amazing images that you had. So, a few questions do have, and
Sure.
there's no issues. I think a few questions we have, and we can take. And anyone else also who has any questions, please either raise your hand or put it in the chat box. So, if I may just take the first question, sir, which is from Jyoti Kerkar.
Hmm.
She makes a point that food history is always very, very interesting. And
Yeah.
just, you did mention that food today is very different from, say, a few centuries ago. She
Yeah.
wanted to get a sense of maybe what would food been like in the times of Shivaji.
I have no answer to this because I have not gone that behind in time. But from whatever little I know, wheat was a very recent addition in Maharashtra. In Konkan, people would always use rice, different species of rice, and a lot of other millets like nasini, or it's known as ragi in certain parts. That was one of the things. And so many other millets were used in Konkan. And when it comes to Desh, it was jowar, jawari, and bajra. These were the main things, and along with so many other millets also. And wheat was used only like on certain occasions, like poli or chapati or puranpoli was made only on like festival days or very few times.
Right.
So wheat was an addition again, thanks to the government policies and different things. So all these things also influence our food habits. That about wheat. And we also saw that before Portuguese, so many things were not there. And now they occupy a large part of our diet, which is the main thing is potatoes and chili. These are the
Right.
main, although potato is not as popular in Maharashtra as it is in North and East India, but it is still very popular. And interestingly, it's used on the days of fasting, religious fasting. You use all the foreign items. So this is how inclusive and broad-minded we are.
Very interesting point, sir. I do remember you mentioned things like because of economics, the Dalit community would use garlic as a spice rather than pepper, which was a more expensive spice, things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Shrikant, I see you raised your hands, and I know you had a couple of questions. So why don't you only unmute yourself and ask these questions? It'll be easier that way. Please go ahead, Shrikant.
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Absolutely wonderful, brilliant presentation. I really enjoyed it. But,
Thank you.
Bhushanji, I just wanted to slightly take issue with your explanation
Hmm.
that, because Maharashtrians are not an entrepreneurial community, their food has not sort of quote unquote become popular. I
Hmm.
mean, perhaps that is one part of the explanation, but I find it very mysterious. You go to Paris, you'll find French cuisine. In
Hmm.
Bombay, you'll probably find more South Korean cuisine than you'll find Maharashtrian cuisine. You know,
Right.
I believe, I mean, my theory is this is
Hmm.
due to two things.
Hmm.
One is, as someone has suggested here,
Hmm.
Maharashtrians somehow believe that their food is not for restaurant or going out and eating, that this is home food and must be eaten at home, and it's not meant for outside khana, or they'll serve South Indian food is more popular, or Punjabi food is more popular or something.
Hmm.
Very few Maharashtrians themselves would believe that their food should be served for an outing.
Hmm.
Second, I believe while they are very possessive about their culture and other things,
Hmm.
they are not probably as proprietarial about their food
Hmm.
as perhaps the Punjabis might be. Somehow Maharashtrians have a very underwhelming attitude to their own food, which I find it very surprising. I'm married to a Marathi girl. As someone said here, Maharashtrian food is outstanding. I love it. And I belong to North Karnataka, where a lot of food is similar to
Similar. Yes. Correct.
Maharashtra.
South
So,
Maharashtra. Correct.
so I find this very good. So
Hmm.
I believe you people should sell your food more vigorously.
Yes. So my
You,
explanation was, as you rightly said, it's one of the reasons. There could be many reasons for this. It's also uh, not very elaborate in the sense if things are mixed just like that and cooked, so people would may not find it exotic enough. I mean, it can be one of the reasons, and there can be many reasons. So, all the enterprising Marathi people and why only Marathi? Everyone who loves Marathi food should do something about it. Or even if they don't do, people would continue to cook food at their home, and the food tradition will continue.
Yeah. But
in fact,
fabulous presentation. Thank you.
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much, Rikanji.
Jyoti does make the point, of course, that particularly in Mumbai and other parts of Maharashtra, restaurant culture typically tends to be taking in dishes from other parts of the country, like dosas, North Indian food, etc. But very few have actually done things like thali pit, which is also what Shrikant was mentioning. I think
Right.
you largely answered that question, but so moving on from that one. But
Hmm.
Jyoti, thank you so much for the interest, and I do buy your point as well as Sonali's point that Marathi cuisine, the point they're making is that Marathi cuisine is looking like it's a really healthy cuisine and also with a lot of variations, textures, etc. It should be promoted for a healthy lifestyle. So just wanted your thoughts on that. You did mention
Yeah.
this as well, but yeah.
Yeah. I fully agree. Also, I am just reading one of the questions. I don't know who's posted it, but in big hotels in Maharashtra cater to South Indian and North
That's
Indian breakfast items like
that's
live,
true.
but never do a thali pit. So my explanation to this is thali pit on, and even the bhakri, which is jowar roti and all, uh, the taste kind of reduces if it is kept outside for a longer time. So, unlike, I mean, I don't know, I'm not the expert on that, but I think that may be one of the reasons. Like, it has to be served very fresh, and thali pit particularly takes longer time to make. So, instead, dhirdis, the dosa type of versions, would serve as a very good snack. And I'm also surprised why dhirdis are never used in restaurants, because they are really very delicious and very easy to make. Like they use a different grains flour, and you can add any vegetable, chopped vegetables and condiments, and just make it. Like it's like the most popular in North India is moong dal chilla or besan chilla. So similarly, these are there.
True, yes. Just so for some reason they haven't quite got popular in a eating out culture and I
Yeah.
would definitely hope that changes with talks like yours and efforts that you are taking to bring awareness of the cuisine. I just Ramkrishna had one point on a particular item which you didn't mention too much, which is poha,
Mm.
and he mentions that it appears to be similar to the eastern part of India, whereas bhaji
Mm.
is similar to the south. So, what is the North Indian influence on Marathi food? And his question is: did say, for example, puranpoli moved from Maharashtra to Andhra Pradesh, or was it the other way around? So, we're just trying to get a sense of influences.
I don't know about this, whether Puranpoli originated, but whatever little I have read, it says that Puranpoli originated in the Desh part of Maharashtra, and then from there it went northwards towards Gujarat also, and southwards towards the northern part of Karnataka and Telangana.
Okay,
So, but food historians should really look into this and come up with the properly researched answer.
understood.
And I didn't understand bhaji similar to the south. I
I
don't know.
think that she put that up when you were showing the bhindi amti recipe, and she was mentioning that it's very similar to her own grandmother's recipe.
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
Jyoti, if I've got that right. Anyways, great. So thank you so much. I think there's just one more message. Just yes,
Hmm.
yes. Jyoti did mention that that's where her comment was for.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Any more questions? If anyone would like to raise a hand, or otherwise, we can. The talk has been extremely enlightening, and I know everyone's very hungry. I definitely am.
And we'll run
And
to our
I am.
kitchen.
I'm actually going to look up on Zomato to see what Maharashtrian cuisine I could maybe look up and order today.
No,
I hope
no,
to
maybe you
find
can
something.
cook something because as I said, it takes only 10
I
minutes.
definitely can't, but I'm sure a lot of them will attempt to do that. So,
Great.
and like you said, I'm also quite the foodie, so I'm very happy to have anything. Anyone wants to send me something or invite me for some, please do. So, but
Let's
thank
do that.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Like I said,
Thank
we hope
you.
to see you, Mr. Karkaukar. This was a very, very interesting talk, and you've given us a lot of interesting ideas on food for recipes as well as things to try out. I'm going to invite everyone to keep attending talks here. We do try to cover varied topics. Do also keep coming up with interesting topics that you'd like covered, and maybe we'll try to do that as well. Thank you so much for spending a Saturday evening with us, Mr. Korgaonkar. Once again, thank you so much. And
Thank
I'm
you.
guessing there are no more questions, so I'll end the talk here. Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.